Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Hard Truth. Thank you so much for watching. Today, I would like to give a shout out to, let's see, the UK, Australia, Italy, the Netherlands, Canada, South Africa, Scotland, New Zealand, Germany, Switzerland, Hungary, and all the Slavic countries, and Norway. Okay, the Idaho 4 case files are heating back up. And the lawyer, just did a great commentary on the defense's fight for all of the discovery. So if you're interested in that aspect of the case, I highly recommend his latest vid. Now, law enforcement revisited 1122 King Road, and just what were they doing back over there? And Judge has been pushing back on the defense's moves. Moves which I would describe as mediocre at best. So mediocre that I'm thinking maybe Koberger might need to defend himself. If he does, wouldn't that be absolutely unparalleled true crime drama? Listen, I need to know what you think about these things. So grab a coffee or a nice cup of tea as we begin our story.
Get away with murder, detecting latent blood.
They didn't find anything.
So in this clip, way too many people inside this crime scene, all doing random things at once, just like we saw with the loaded weapon clip. Some people have gloves on, some people don't. No one is wearing a Tyvek suit or booties. And probably the biggest cardinal sin is that we have the suspect inside the scene.
How much longer?
That's not reality at all. They start pulling out knives out of a knife block and they swab, but they swab one side of the blade, not the other side of the blade, nor do they swab the handle.
Seems like a foolish move.
The last step was to do luminol testing, and that's a chemical we use inside of crime scenes to look for latent blood. Everyone would have been cleared out of the room at that point. Is a possibility that luminol is carcinogenic, so you'd be wearing a mask as well as a Tyvek suit.
Oh, you're being paranoid.
But they just start randomly spraying the chemicals and everyone else is around breathing it. That's a no-no.
And maybe he's just being smart.
It's also using some sort of UV light with it or some sort of blue light with it. Luminol, you don't need that. You don't need any sort of alternate light source. You just make the room dark. You spray it in combination with hydrogen peroxide, and if there's a reaction, it will.
Matthew Steiner gave having too many people inside a crime scene a big strike. So, of course, I was shocked and appalled when I heard the FBI was back trampling around inside of 1122 King Road. I wonder why this intensive modeling wasn't done in the beginning of the investigation. Also, I had hopes that the jury would be able to tour the house before issuing a verdict so they could experience the exact location of Dylan's bedroom and determine for themselves how probable it was that Diem and Bethany were there and what they could hear from the first and second floors. Well, the property is in shambles and the crime scene is still being exposed to people, environmental elements, and corruption. And at the end of the day, when they finish contaminating the crime scene, there's still plenty of time to tear it down. My primary concern is that the prosecution may claim that they found more evidence in the house, like the murder weapon or Koberger's DNA on other items, since they have his DNA now. It doesn't seem as if the defense is monitoring the FBI's activity at the crime scene to know whether they're planting anything or what's going on. They may be now, but I can't say that they are, which leads me to my next point. Should Brian Koberger try to represent himself? I mean, his defense team is not doing a superstar job right now, in my opinion. And although he doesn't have experience as a lawyer, how bad a job can he do? I mean, he does have some criminology background, and he seems to be highly intelligent with a desire to fight and win his case. One problem he may have is getting the jury to like him. His confidence may come off as arrogance to the jurors. They may say, why doesn't he have a lawyer? Or this guy thinks he's a hotshot. On the other hand, they may say what a lot of people are saying. Why would an intelligent, ambitious young man from a good family come to Washington and commit quadruple homicide? Can Kohlberger get a fair trial in Idaho? Let's take a look at the jury selection process.
A petit jury, which you're probably more familiar with, is also called a trial jury. It consists of 6 to 12 jurors who examine the facts and render a guilty or not guilty verdict in a criminal trial. Before a jury is selected, the court and counsel will question potential jurors to ensure an impartial jury, as required by the Constitution. This preliminary examination is known as voir dire. If a juror is biased, counsel can ask the judge to dismiss that person for cause. There are also what are called peremptory challenges. In some criminal cases, this allows counsel to excuse a limited number of potential jurors without stating cause if the attorney believes a juror will not serve the best interests of their client, but a juror cannot be excused based on race or sex. In some cases, alternate jurors are selected to take the place of jurors who may become ill during the trial. Alternate jurors hear the evidence just as other jurors, but they don't participate in the deliberation unless officially replaced. Before the trial begins, the judge or the jurors will select who will serve as a foreperson. This person diffuses arguments, ensures each juror has a fair say, and addresses any necessary correspondence or questions to the judge. During the trial, jurors will hear opening statements from both parties on the reasons they are in court, testimony of witnesses, and evidence introduced, and finally, closing arguments. Throughout the trial, proper juror conduct is essential in order to be fair on all sides. In other words, jurors must not discuss the case and keep away from media, including social media. At the end of the trial, the judge will provide the jury with instructions and the final verdict is achieved. Unlike what we see on TV, rarely is there a hung jury or a jury that cannot come to a decision. If a jury is deadlocked and cannot reach a verdict, the judge will declare a mistrial and a new trial may take place.
Okay, it's time for our survey, and the question is, the Idaho 4 jury will view Kohlberger as A victim, probably on the spectrum, meaning Asperger's or something like that, B, an arrogant killer trying to outsmart the system, C, a participant in the crime, perhaps unwillingly or in the wrong place at the wrong time, or D, I don't know, too early to tell. All right, be sure and vote, and I will put a link to this survey in the comments section for this video, and I'll see you after the clip. Thank you so much for watching, and much love.